Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm going to start with this Mystical Shaman Oracle. But I am doing a reading for the full Beaver Moon Eclipse. So this is the beginning of eclipse season, which is, you know, it's usually a lot of shifting and changing, and it's pretty wild time. So we're just starting that out, and yeah, I've already shuffled a couple of the decks just because I've been trying to like be more efficient, and like the shuffling takes a long time, and anyway, so we'll see how that goes. But I am going to shuffle this deck, the Mystical Shaman Oracle. So I'm going to start with some cards from that, and yeah, the readings have been really wild lately, really wild. The reading that I just did was called An Explosion of Drama, so that's gives you some sense. But like the overall reading for the month was about breaking free from oppression, and so, you know, there was like there's been all this thing about these sort of dueling realities, and so it's just sort of like one reality was going to prevail, you know, of the two. And so this is creating like this huge clash, you know, and at the bottom of this deck we get Thunder, you know, which is like basically a big wake-up call. So there's inevitably going to be some drama when you have these like clashing ideals, for sure, you know. I mean, in the reading that I just did, like I was kind of making fun of Rudy Giuliani because, you know, I didn't feel like that was a very political statement. I thought that was just kind of illustrating what was happening in the cards and just using something from real life as an illustration. But like obviously like that triggered some like upset people. So like for sure this is going on. Thunder. Drama, you know, it's happening. So okay, so the cards that came out, we got the Upper World, we got the Drum, we got Flow, we got the Corn, and we got the Serpent. So this is actually really good. I mean, because this speaks to like this huge wake-up call, and it's kind of like a tower moment where like there's this big shake-up that's happening, you know, which dramatic, you know. But then we also have the Upper World. So this speaks to like the heavenly realms and like your ancestors and like God consciousness, you know. So this is sort of like you know, watching over this situation, you know. So this is, I think, a good omen. Then we got the Drum. So this kind of speaks to sort of like being part of a larger rhythm, and like there's like signs and synchronicities that will like come to you and let you know like how to move, you know, because it's just like all these things are changing and it's super unsettling. And so sometimes you can get really like overwhelmed by that. Like I love how there's like this bird here that's like sort of giving you a cue, you know, because for me that like means a lot, because my dad, I feel like he speaks to me through that realm of like birds and like helicopters, you know, because he was a pilot. But there's like this universal rhythm, and to be able to like tap into that and like know, you know, and be guided through like such unsettling times is like really important, you know. And it's interesting too because it goes right into Flow, which is the next card, you know. So it's just like by like you have the support around you, and so these signs are being delivered and this rhythm is being shown to you about like, you know, how you should respond, you know. And so like trust your intuition, because it will lead you, you know. It's like she's like manifesting this power, you know, through water, like through this power of her emotions. Like she's in command of that, you know? So it's like by like following the guidance that's being shown to you and like trusting your own internal guidance, you're going to be led on this path to corn, which is like a card of abundance and of harvest and of like reaping what you sow, you know? And then we have the serpent, which is like this like kundalini awakening. So it's just sort of like, this is such a beautiful ending to the month, because the monthly reading was all about breaking free from oppression. And so that's kind of like this card, you know, it's like this kundalini energy is like unleashed, and like your power is like unleashed, and you're allowed to sort of like be who you're meant to be, you know. But it's all happening in this sort of dramatic moment, you know. So that's really interesting. And then I'm going to go now to the Urban Tarot. And it's interesting too, because at the bottom of this deck, you know, because the bottom of the last deck we got Thunder, and then I get the Public Defender, which is interesting because this came up a lot in the beginning of the month when we were talking about breaking free from oppression, and like there being this like huge obstacle that was going to have to be busted through, and it was going to be difficult. And in order to like be released from this oppression, in order to like allow this energy to like be freed, you know. And in the reading in the beginning of the month, I'm not sure if it was the monthly reading or the one right after that, but whichever one it is, I'll link here. It was talking about, I mean, like almost like a crime had been committed, because, you know, obviously that's when you need the Public Defender. And there was like, this card showed up with oppression, and it was like someone in like prison, like whatever you call the outfit, you know. And so it's like almost like whatever that is coming to light, or has come to light, or you know, this kind of, I think, speaks to whatever the obstruction was, you know, because this person is here in the background, you know. So it's like almost like whatever it is that was like oppressing has been found out, because like now we're going through this process, you know, with the law. So it's like that's in the background, but it's like not actually so much showing up in the reading, because this reading is almost like the aftermath of that, you know, because this is like not so much of a prevailing energy in the spread, it's just an underlying energy. So yes, this could have to do with the explosion of drama that just happened, and you know what this is speaking to, because these are both the underlying energies, which is interesting. Okay, so when I go to the Urban Tarot, I get the Three of Pentacles and the Gourmet Chef. I love that. This is a super prevalent energy in the New Moon and Libra reading, so I might link that reading here too, because this might be a message that's really relevant. This actually, I didn't mention this, but this is going to be, or maybe I did, the full Beaver Moon Eclipse reading, in case I didn't say it. So then we have this Knight of Pentacles, the Gourmet Chef. I love this because I'm a gourmet chef. And there's this new foundation that's being built up for this gourmet chef, you know. And then we have the Hangman and the Chariot. So the Chariot is all about like seizing the reins and taking control of a situation. I love, like, this to me is like this modern day West Side Story, like that's kind of like what I get from this card, even though I don't know, it just reminds me of the Jets, when you're a Jet. And so we also have the Hangman. So this is someone who's kind of strung up, and they're taking a step back and having perspective on something, you know, but like obviously I think they're about to jump in, you know, and like take control of the situation, but they're like getting some perspective on it before that happens. So perhaps it's this like gourmet chef who has this new foundation that's coming up, like is taking a step back, because obviously there's some major drama that's happening, you know, and just happened. And then we have the Ace of Swords, and we have the Failure card. And this is interesting because this just came up in that super dramatic reading that I just did, called An Explosion of Drama. And so this speaks to like a truth being told, so exposing whatever this drama is, you know, which in that reading it was talking about, you know, this showed up with this day trader. So it was someone who was like not necessarily a bad person, but like the intentions like behind what they were doing were kind of shady because they were like financially motivated, you know. And so like whatever that was, like it came up as like failure, like the truth is being shown on maybe whatever those motives were. And so like inevitably what's going to happen is the plot is foiled, and there's going to be like a new beginning that's going to be born out of this foiled plot, because the truth is being shown. Like there was maybe some sort of like, maybe they weren't doing things for the right reasons, or they were just doing things for the money, but like whatever the true motives are, it's going to be like coming to light, or it has come to light. It might already have come to light because like I said, this is like an underlying energy. But then we have the Nine of Pentacles on top of the Wheel of Fortune. So whatever this is that's coming to light is like flipping things for this person, you know. I love this, like, I don't know why, but this just showed up for me on the internet the other day, so it reminds me of this. But this is like this swinging single person, you know. She's financially independent. She's like got it going on. Like she's taking care of herself. She's got cucumbers on her eyes. She's like, you know, she's working out. Like she's doing her thing, you know. But this, she's just sitting at the side of the pool, you know. This kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if you saw this picture that came out over the summer, but it was this sort of picture of like Martha Stewart, who you don't necessarily think is this like babe, but she was like, it was like this thirst trap photo of Martha Stewart, and it just came up in the internet as she was joking about it, because it was like a totally accidental photo, but she's like hanging out the side of the pool, and you know, Martha's got it going on because she's like, you know, she's got her own empire and she does her thing, and she's just sitting by the pool like being thirsty, you know. So it's kind of like, this kind of reminds me of this, you know. She's got her empire, she's got her thing going on, but like whatever situation that's coming to light is like flipping things for this person. So like maybe this is the person who's being freed from whatever the oppressive situation is. And then we have this Ace of Cups, which is like this new beginning in love, right over the Truth card, or the Four of Swords, which is somebody who's kind of able to like take a little bit of a breather and just like take a little moment for themselves, you know. So that's really interesting, you know, because it looks like this, whatever we're breaking free from, like it looks like with this full moon eclipse, like this might be the climax that kind of like breaks this person loose, you know, into their new start, you know. And it's like a really lovely new start, because we have this brand new start in love. But then also when I pulled the Radiant Wise Spirit, I got the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of this deck, you know. So this speaks to a new like opportunity, you know. So it's really, you know, it looks good. But then for the Radiant Wise, I got the Queen of Pentacles. So it's like, it could be this Queen of Pentacles character. We have the Ten of Swords, you know, which this is like oppression, you know, but the end of oppression. You know, we've got the Seven of Swords, which is like, it's kind of like a false reality. It's like somebody who's being deceptive, you know, like it was like that whole situation where it's talking about the person's motives are becoming clear, And so it's kind of flipping this situation upside down, you know? Like, whatever these deceptive motives are, like, this actually fell right on top of these two cards. It's coming to light. So then we got the Nine of Wands, which is, this is like the Wounded Warrior card. Like, this person has been beat up. Like, they've been run through the ringer. They've really been, like, sticking it out. Like, this is the person who's probably been super oppressed. But this fell right on top of this thirst trap photo, you know? So, like, obviously this situation is flipping. And it's going to, like, going from this to this, which is a good positive change, you know? And then on top of this Ace of Cups, we've got the Hierophant. So this is like someone who's got like some support from the heavens, and they've got this love coming their way, you know? So it's just like, but it's just like they've got support behind them, you know? So it's just like, whatever this is, it's like ending. We're taking control of this situation. Like, we've taken a step back, we've gotten some perspective, and we're taking control of this situation. And interestingly, this Queen of Pentacles falls right on top of this new foundation and this chef. So it's sort of like this person is being liberated from whatever this horrible burden was by whatever deception is being brought to light. And it's like the suffering is going to end, and they've got support behind them, you know? So I mean, really, that like sort of speaks to what these cards were saying too, you know? It's like they've got the support of the heavens, you know, sending them the signs, you know, and so they're just staying in their flow, and they're going to step into their abundance, and their Kundalini energy is going to be unleashed, you know, like large and in charge, in control, and starting a new foundation, you know? So this actually looks like a super positive development, because whoever this is getting busted, you know, or it has been busted. And so now this person has had this huge burden, like, kind of lifted off their back, you know, which is like, that's pretty good for a full moon. I'm going to go to the Moonology and the Queen of the Moon Oracle, since this is a full moon eclipse reading, and see what I get from these decks, because yeah, eclipse season, just to remind you, it's usually, it depends on how many eclipses are, but this time there's 2. So it's going to go until December 14th, which is when the solar eclipse will happen. So yeah, there's usually like some big shifts that happen in those between those 2 points. So, okay, so out of this deck I got nothing will come of this situation, and it's time to release the negativity. So, like, what I'm getting from that is whoever this person is, like, it's not going to work. Like, their plot is being foiled, which is kind of what I was saying at the beginning. Like, the truth is coming out. It's going to be shown. And their plot is being foiled. So this is really good for whoever's been being oppressed by this situation. So I'm just going to pull a couple more from Queen of the Moon Oracle to end. Okay, so 2 just flopped out. So we got Thunder Moon, Change, and we got Hunter Moon, which we just had. I should, I'll put a link to the Hunter Moon reading too. Abundance. So that's perfect. So yeah, this plot is going to be foiled, and for one person, and for the other person, they're going to get liberated from whatever's been holding them back. We got the Wheel of Fortune, and they're going to come into their abundance. They're going to get their due, you know. It's happening. So, wow. That's so crazy. I love how the cards always like come together like that in this beautiful way. So this is a really good reading. So I'll probably come back and do the monthly reading for December coming up, but it looks like things are starting to look up for old Martha here. I forgot to put this later, so I'm just adding this at the end. I wore this necklace, and since there's all this drama going around, I'm wearing my Labradorite pendant, which was made by my friend Lynn at Maji Designs. So I'm going to put a link to her site in the description box below. I just forgot to mention that part, but I just wanted to throw that in there.